Hello, YouTube channel at Chambers. I'm Garrett, one of the pharmacists here at Chambers Apothecary. This is your first deep dive with me, so welcome. I have this beautiful wall behind me. I feel like I should, get comfortable, take it easy, be a little Mr. Rogers, relax. Anyway, all that being said, we're going to talk about your immune system. So I'm super excited. I have a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to kind of go a little deeper. So don't fall asleep on me. Grab a cup of coffee if you need to. I want to kind of at least give you a little bit where you can say, hey, at the end of this video, I learned this cool thing about my immune system, how it works. So that's kind of my goal for this conversation. So what is your immune system? We'll kind of start base level. So it's a complex network of cells, receptors, other organs that you have, everything that you use to prevent things from coming in that shouldn't be there. So again, tissues, cells, molecules, those are the things that are involved to prevent those infectious agents from coming in. And that's most commonly what we think about: bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, cool stuff. So there's three barriers that we have in place to prevent against infections. Physical barrier, which you think about, what prevents things from coming in most of the time, it's our skin. This is the organ that people forget about so much. I mean, it's thick, it prevents stuff from getting into our body. It's kind of awesome. Number two, chemical barriers. So this is mucosal surfaces, which is a fancy way of saying kind of snot. So everything, your sinuses, lungs, even your GI tract, stuff that if the virus or bacteria does get in, it gets stuck in your mucosal system, you sneeze it out, you cough it out. That is a protective barrier that we have. And then the third one is called innate immunity, and we'll kind of get to what that is, but this is a fixed, non-specific response to infective agents. So just kind of whatever happens, you're gonna have a specific, non-specific response, kick it out. So we're going to take a kind of silly deep dive into what this looks like. So this is kind of like all the crazy things that your immune system does. So there's tons of stuff, tons of cells, receptors. It's very, very complex, and we're not going to go that deep. So get rid of that. But the innate and adaptive immune system, and I'm told that I can maybe get like cool little things right here that tell me all these things, so you have to watch out on YouTube. So you have an innate immune system, which is one side, and then adaptive immune system, which is on this side. And so they kind of work on their own, but then sometimes, as you can see, they kind of cross back and forth and work in between each other. So the big thing is that the innate immune system doesn't recognize something when it comes back in again. It's going to have the same response. Whatever comes in, it's going to just try to kick it out. And I don't know if you can see or not, but that usually involves inflammation. So that's why whenever you cut yourself, you start to get an inflammatory response right at the infection site. Whenever you have a cold and your sinuses feel like you can't breathe, that's inflammation. That's your body trying to kick it out. And then that's a big part of the innate immune response, and the adaptive immune response takes time, takes the ability to kind of recognize those things the next time it comes in contact with it, and then gets it out. So anyway, those are kind of the two big pieces: is the innate immune system, the adaptive immune system. The adaptive immune system is kind of where we get to things like the T cells and the CD4 cells and all that crazy stuff that recognizes, hey, this is bad, and the next time you see it, kicks it out. I did do some digging in my attic for some of my textbooks, so see if I can find some cool pictures in here. Back to like how crazy and complex this is. These are all the cells that it makes. It makes like hundreds of cells, and your body is just so good at making this. A lot of times when people want to boost their immune system, what they don't realize is that your immune system is like doing its job majority of the time. It's doing what it's supposed to. And I have another one here that shows, depending on where the infection is, if your response happens, that inflammatory response can actually make it worse. Something like sepsis, which is an easy infection if it's not in your blood. If it's in your blood, your body goes haywire and boom, that's not ideal. So anyway, we'll throw that out too for now. What I wanted to kind of address and talk about next is something that's kind of new to Chambers, so welcome. And it's called a wellness pyramid. Again, this should be fancily put maybe down here somewhere. But we have kind of the 3 ways of looking at and interacting with supplements and medicine. So lifestyle changes at the bottom, that's the big part of it. Then the next part of the pyramid is supplements and the vital 5, which we won't talk about too much, but that's coming down the road for sure. So keep an eye on that. Then top is medical care. So these are the ways that we should be thinking through, like, if I have an issue, how am I going to fix the issue? Well, you get your lifestyle changes in line first. Make sure that's good to go. Then you move up to supplements and the vital 5. Make sure your supplements are good to go. If you're still not having any relief, then you move up to medical care. You use that kind of hierarchy of order as far as seeing what that looks like. So today, for this series on immune health, we're going to stick to lifestyle. So I have some basics, which are basics, but it's kind of the big things that you would do that would actually help your immune system to be as optimal as it can be. So diet is unfortunately number one, always number one. I hate it, but I'm not saying dieting, just like eating habits. I am not the best example of this, but it's pretty clear that if you eat less than beneficial things, generally your immune system isn't up to what it should be. That being said, when we're talking about immune health, we're not talking about a clean diet. We're not talking about 100%. Everything has to be right from the farm. More so just that you're well nourished and you're not malnourished. So again, your body's going to kind of take care of itself as long as it has enough of the big macronutrients. Your big protein, carbohydrates, the stuff that your body already needs. So just making sure you have a functioning diet. A diet that's not leaving you malnourished is going to be fine for immune health. Weight is the next one. Again, I don't know if you've seen me around about a decade and a half ago. I wasn't this skinny. I wouldn't call myself skinny, but anyway, maintaining a healthy weight will allow your immune system to function well. So that's huge. I mean, if your body's always kind of trying to figure out what to do with the extra weight, it's going to decrease your immune system, decrease your ability to fight infections the whole way down the line. Smoking, that's pretty straightforward, but you think about it, if you're putting those toxins, chemicals into your lungs, your body's constantly fighting, trying to get that out, and that decreases your ability to fight off other infections, which if we're looking at it from the healthcare perspective, that's why you end up with more lung infections, that type of thing. So if you are a smoker and you do want to try to get rid of that, let us know. We have great over-the-counter aids that we can use and whatnot. Prescriptions, obviously, if you have a doctor who's working with you on that. So let us know. Something we can definitely help with, and something as pharmacists we love to do. We actually have one pharmacist who's training specifically in that, so we love to help with that. So whatever you need, let us know on that. Alcohol, kind of in the same boat. Again, in moderation. Too much, you're just continually preventing your immune system from fixing itself. That's what it does. It's an amazing part of your body that works well if you kind of let it take care of itself. Sleep is important. I don't sleep enough. Probably none of us do. But I got 8 hours of sleep last night and I feel great. So not something crazy like 12 hours, but a solid 8 hours of sleep will go a long way. Helps your body to reset, helps your immune system to work properly. Stress management, I'm sure that's something that you've heard of before. Obviously, sometimes in a crazy pharmacy world, stress is a big issue, but those cortisol levels will prevent your immune system from working. So that's definitely important. I'll leave this as a teaser, probably something we'll swing back to around at some point in the next year or so, but find ways to be mindful. So find ways to deal with the stress up here and find ways to work through that, be mindful of your situation and be able to manage that. So, and last one is just use common sense. So, especially during cold season, which we're coming up into, wash your hands, limit exposure to sick people, pretty much kind of the norm as far as that goes. I wrote on my notes, just don't be me, because I'm surrounded by sick people at the pharmacy and I have a bunch of kids at home who are snotty, bringing home all their sicknesses and whatnot. So yeah, pretty much, try to limit your exposure. Again, with everything going on with COVID, it makes sense that, just to kind of continue to prevent your exposure to other illnesses and wash your hands. That's a big part of it. So with that, we're going to kind of wrap up the first video on immune health. Hopefully you learned something in the first half. We'll see. And the second video, we will go through those next pyramid levels, so supplements, Vital 5, and medical care. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, I'm told it's somewhere down here. So get those numbers up. This is awesome. I love providing additional education to you guys. It's a great opportunity to continue to educate and go from there. So if you have any questions too, put them in the comments, reach out to us at Chambers, give us a call. We're more than a pharmacy, and we love providing YouTube content. Have a good day, guys.